right, everybody, what's happening? And welcome to another edition of SWAC Tournament edition of SWAC Talk. So we cover SWAC inside and out. As usual, we will recap the action from the evening session 2 of the semifinals. We now have our four teams who will play for the men's and women's championship tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in and talk about it, man. We're not gonna waste a lot of time, man. It's kind of late, so go ahead and get this out for y'all so y'all can check this out and get ready for tomorrow. So, um, and when we left off this afternoon, we knew Alabama State women's team advanced to the championship, and Texas Southern men's team advanced to the championship. Who will they face? Well, the Alabama State women will face Jackson State. That's no surprise. They defeated Southern 59-46. This was a great game for like three quarters. Southern led by seven in the third quarter, and then they, I guess, they basically just ran out of gas, and they just could not keep up with Jackson State, and Jackson State was able to outscore Southern 20-5 in the fourth quarter to pull out this victory. So the score was a 13-point margin, but this game was very close for three quarters. And like I said, Southern actually led by seven in the third quarter. They just could not pull away from JSU. Southern, when you look at the stats, you would wonder how Southern stayed in this game. Southern did not have a double-digit score. Denovia Johnson, Nakia Kinsey, and Diamond Hunter all had 8 points each for Southern. So no double-digit scores. They did have three people with eight, and Amani McWayne had seven. So they had a kind of balanced scoring attack, but they just did not score the ball enough. The leading rebounder on the team tonight was McWayne. He had 5 rebounds. Southern only had 28 rebounds as a team. They had 4 assists, 10 steals, 1 block, and 8 turnovers. So they didn't turn the ball over a lot, really not much at all. They other than that, they did force some steals, but they just could not really get anything going. They shot 33% from the field, 16% from the 3-point line, which is an improvement from last game where they shot 0% from three, and 42% from the free throw line. This team has been really the free throw line has been Southern's Achilles heel all season, and it definitely bit them in the butt in this game. 3 of 7 from the free throw line as a team. That's definitely not good. 22 fouls committed by the Lady Jags. Uh, Jackson State was led by Misha Williams with 20 points and 13 rebounds. He had 3 blocks as well and 1 assist. Also, Sims with 10 points and Luckett with 13 to round out the double-digit score for Jackson State. JSU had 48 rebounds on the night, 14 assists, 1 steal. They had 4 blocks, and they turned the ball over 17 times. They had 11 fouls. They shot 42% from the field and 14% from three. Like I said, the 3-point shooting in this tournament has not been good at all. JSU has not been a good 3-point shooting team most of the season. They do not need it, but if there was one thing I would look at and say that this has been their weak spot is that they have not needed it, and then they shot 57% from the free throw line. So not a really great shooting night for anybody, but this was a hell of a game, like I said, for three quarters. So they just did not have the juice offensively to maintain. Defensively, they did a great job on JSU, as best as you can do against a team like that. Um, they held Woodard to 4 points, Rogan 3 points, uh, Maya Crump had 1 point. So ladies that score a good deal for JSU did, sort of was able to contain most of them, but it just was just a this is a team that can take care of business and win games in any form and fashion, and that's what they did tonight. They stayed in it. They didn't panic when they got down, and they made that late run to get themselves a chance to advance to the championship and face off against Alabama State, who they played in the SWAC championship last year, and they defeated. So Alabama State is looking for revenge for that game, tournament. The games haven't ended in close margins, like single digits, but these games have been a challenge for JSU. And this game here was the 59 points was the lowest point total that JSU scored in SWAC play all season. So Southern did a great job defensively against JSU, but they just did not have the offensive output to really keep this game in control. So really, this was an entertaining game for, like I said, for a good stretch of it. JSU was able to get the dub and move on to the championship, which is tomorrow at 1:30 ESPN Plus broadcast. So moving on to the men's side, who will take Southern face? Well, they will face the they will face the Alcorn Braves, who were able to withstand Alabama A&M and pick up the victory. This was a game A&M led for good stretches of time, and they just could not get it done at the end. Alcorn just fought, and this has been Alcorn basketball in the tournament. Just playing games that have been close and just finding ways to win. And basically, this has been Alcorn basketball all year. They're not a flashy team. They play defense pretty well. They they're opportunistic, and they just have had this way of surviving and advancing in this game. They were able to withstand the Alabama A&M run. They Alcorn trailed by 7 at the half, 37-30, and then they were able to outscore Alabama A&M 39-27 in the second half to ultimately win this game by 5, 69-64. Jalen Johnson led Alabama A&M with 20 points and 11 rebounds. That's a double-double for him. He also had 1 steal and 2 blocks. Garrett Hicks he had 20 points as well. Um, he had 3 rebounds on the night, and he was 6 of 11 from 3. So he was probably one of the best shooters all alone himself from 3-point land. And those were the only 2 double-digit scores. They did get 7 rebounds from Jalen Smith, and that's pretty much it as far as what they were able to get from guys who were outside of Johnson and Hicks. Other than that, the third leading scorer was Tucker with 8 points, and then they had Smith with 6, Parker with 4, and Andre Cortez with 4, and E.J. Williams had 2. So not a lot of guys that can step up and chip in. And that's been a problem A&M has had. They haven't had that consistent third guy that can get them points, to help out. When they were on that 6-game winning streak, they had people step up. One game it would be Tucker, one game it would be Cortez, maybe Smith. So they had that guy, but there's never that consistent guy. So this kind of backfired on them. But Garrett Hicks put on a show from 3-point land, 6 of 11. He made the only 3-pointers that Jackson Alabama A&M made. He was 6 of 11. The rest of the team was 0 for 6. So he didn't get any help from that range. The team shot 35% from 3 and 34% from the field, 84% from the free throw line. They had 38 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 steals, 3 blocks, 14 turnovers, and 18 fouls. Alcorn was led by Justin Thomas with 19 points and Keandre Montgomery with 14 points off the bench. They also didn't really get a lot of guys. Bruton also had 15 points off the bench, so 2 of their leading scorers were bench guys. Their starters didn't really chip in a lot. Linnell Henry, 8 points. Darius Agnew, 9 points. Byron Joshua, 0. Otis Walker, 2 points. So the starters other than Thomas combined for 19 points. So they got 38 points from their starters. They had a really good bench effort from 2 guys. They got 29 points from 2 guys off the bench, and McQuarter chipped in 2 off the bench. Marshall and King did not score. So not a great scoring output for Alcorn, but like I said, this is a tournament play to survive and to advance. They shot 48% from the field, 20% from 3, 2 of 10, 72% from the free throw line. They had 36 rebounds, so they got out rebounded by two. They had 9 assists, four blocks, 8 steals, and they turned the ball over 14 times, and they also had 18 fouls. So not not a great game by Alcorn by any stretch, but they were able to withstand the Alabama A&M run and go on a run late to put this game away and set up a championship game between Texas Southern and Alcorn. 5 p.m. tip off ESPNU broadcast. So make you check that out. This should be a very entertaining game. Both games were close between the two teams. Alcorn won both games, but they were both close games. They won by one at home, and I think they won by three, I believe, at TSU. Yes, they won by three, 75-72 at TSU, and then they won 73-72 at home. That was a game that they had a nice lead, and TSU made a furious comeback. TSU, I feel like, is playing better ball right now. Like I said, they had a great game against Grambling this afternoon, and they had a pretty grind out game against Jackson State. But this game they played today was probably the most complete game that they played all year. If they can get that up, Alcorn's gonna really need to step up their game because TSU is clicking to that very dangerous. They have the advantage in terms of experience in this situation. So I kind of lean with them, but it should be a very good game. Like I said, Alcorn has beaten them twice, so they know how to handle TSU. But will they be able to do that on the big stage and head to the NCAA tournament if they win? So we had the final 14 set. Two women's teams, two men's teams. The winners go to the NCAA tournament. JSU women's team, I've seen projected right now as high as a 14 seed. I think anybody who wins the men's side is going into the first four. So that's just the way it goes. Too much parity in the league, not enough wins outside the league to really bolster that. So we'll see what happens on Selection Sunday, and hopefully these games will be pretty entertaining. They both hopefully will be close and good. So I'm not gonna do a show tomorrow after these games. I'll just say that for my Sunday recap. So that's gonna do it for me, man. Covering these games in the SWAC tournament. It's been a crazy tournament. Um, really competitive, pretty much for most games, and a lot of fun to watch. 3-point shooting wasn't great for anybody, but this has been a great tournament, and hopefully the championships will live up to that as well. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Um, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when I do videos like this. You know they're here. So go ahead and do that.